Never save money. That was the advice my grandfather gave me, and it is why I am sharing it today. Imagine a small farming village. There lived an old man whom everyone thought was lazy. He didn't work. He spent his days sitting in the shade of a large tree in an old chair, his gaze lost the distance. He talked endlessly about projects he never completed. "One day I'll open a store," he would say. "One day I'll buy land and cows. I'll earn money without tiring myself out." But that day never came. At first, people mocked him. Then they stopped. They only looked at him with pity. His wife would sigh and say, "You don't live on dreams, you live on work." He would shrug imperturbably and reply, "One day I'll find a way." Years passed. Life grew harder. One night, his barefoot, thin grandson whispered to him, "Grandpa, is there any bread?" The grandmother opened the cupboard. It was empty. The old man lowered his eyes, his throat tightening. Dreams cannot be eaten. Ideas cannot fill an empty stomach. That night, he didn't sleep. The next morning, his heart heavy with shame, he went to work in the fields as a day laborer. The work was brutal. The sun scorched his skin. His back arched a little more each day. His hands were sore, covered in wounds. Sweat poured into his eyes. In the middle of the field, he whispered to himself, "I feel like I'm in chains." In the evening, he would return exhausted and silent. The grandmother would serve beans and 2 tortillas, never more. His grandson would hug him and ask, "What did they give you today, Grandpa?" The old man would look at his meager wages and reply, "It's not much, but it's something." But the money never stayed. Debts took it, medicine took it, food took it. Only a few coins remained on the table. Week after week, the wages came and went. The roof still leaked. Hunger persisted, sneaky and cruel. One afternoon at the village grocery store, he overheard a conversation between men talking loudly. "The secret is to save. If you save, you are safe." Those words remained etched in his mind. That night, he found a large glass jar and hid it under his bed. Every week, after buying only the bare essentials, he would slide a few coins into it. The clink of metal against glass made him smile. It gave him hope again. One day, his grandson found the jar. "What is this, Grandpa?" "Our future," the old man replied proudly. But saving was hard. He didn't buy new shoes, even when his were worn to the bone. Food became scarcer. They ate slowly, savoring every bite. The plates were never full. One day, the grandmother could no longer remain silent. "What's the point of saving if we're always hungry?" He didn't look up. "One day, you'll understand." Months passed, and the jar filled up coin by coin. To the old man, this glass treasure was a guarantee of security, a fortress against uncertainty. One morning, they went to the market. He proudly placed the money on the counter. "I want 3 bags of corn." The vendor counted and then shook his head. "Prices have gone up. With this, you can buy a bag and a half." The old man froze. "Money loses its value," the vendor said simply. On the way back, the jar seemed to weigh a ton. That night, the old man poured the money onto the table and counted it again and again. The sum never grew. The boy asked softly, "So, what's the point of saving, Grandpa?" The old man had no answer. His days grew dark. He grew weak. The food wasn't enough. Sometimes he felt like he was in a dead end with no way out. One morning, while sitting on the porch, he saw neighbors pass by. One carried eggs, another bottles of milk. They walked calmly, without the fear that was gnawing at him. He then remembered his grandson's words from long ago. What if we bought chickens? This time, he listened. He took the little money he had left and bought a few scrawny hens. When he released them into the yard, the boy laughed as he chased them. Now we have an egg factory. At first, they found 1 or 2 eggs a day. They ate some and sold the others. With that small bit of money, they bought another hen. The old man noted everything in a small notebook. Every egg counted. Soon, the yard was filled with the cackling of hens. Neighbors came to buy fresh eggs. For the first time in his life, work seemed pleasant, filled with meaning. One afternoon, the old man held an egg in the palm of his hand and said to his grandson, "Do you see this? This is worth more than a jar full of money. It feeds us, it grows, it doesn't lose its value." The boy hugged him tight. "So, you're not lazy anymore?" The old man smiled, his eyes moist. "No, my child, I finally understood." The jar remained under the bed, forgotten. From then on, when people spoke of saving money, the old man showed them his chickens and said, "Saving money is like holding water in your hands. It always leaks away. You have to make it grow, even if you start with almost nothing." And that is how the man, once considered the laziest in the village, learned the greatest truth of his life. Never save money. Make it grow. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe.